True fact here about Izzy. Izzy once made a 5-foot-tall paper-mache penguin in an attempt to save an ailing relationship. It's the classic story. Girl meets boy, boy leaves girl, girl makes a giant paper-mache penguin. Boy is pretty sure he made the right decision.
Jimmy Carr is a master of wit and savage comebacks.
It says if you want my comeback, you'll have to scrape it off your mum's teeth.
And once he sets his sights on someone, he doesn't let up until he's had the final word.
You're like the world's fattest toddler.
Starting off with the least brutal, let's rewind to a 2020 interview that kicked things off with just a light roast. Nikki Glaser is a comedian known for being unapologetically open about her sex life. It's practically part of her brand.
I mean, I made out with my girlfriends in high school, but that was before I even kissed a boy, and I just wanted to kiss anyone.
You just want to try it.
Yeah.
So when Jimmy was invited on her show, he knew exactly which topic to nibble at, and of course, he went straight for the kill.
So,
Already?
Nikki, you're surrounded by 4 men. Feels like a night out for you, doesn't it? Come on.
This is so exciting for me.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something about me with a cigarette. Hello, Lionel Fancy here.
I think you would look cool with a joint.
If you think I would look cool, you need to get laid.
You would look like that.
Moving into more recent territory, the next clip features Jimmy sharing his thoughts on a public figure who's made quite a few controversial headlines in the last few years. When an audience member asked Jimmy what he thought of Andrew Tate, he didn't miss a beat, turning his opinion into a sharp, hilarious roast.
Donald Trump is a poor person's idea of what a rich person is, right? That's exactly it, right? Andrew Tate, to me, is a 14-year-old's idea of what a man looks like. It's not, right? He's cosplay Grand Theft Auto.
Now that we've seen Jimmy take aim from the stage, let's shift to something a bit more up close, a full-on one-on-one roast battle. Big Narsty brought Jimmy Carr onto his show and decided to take a shot at roasting the roastmaster himself.
Look at your forehead, cuz. Look like you got a heartbeat in your forehead.
That's not a 4, that's a 6 or an 8 head.
You look like you got a helmet on. Then we're just gonna start cussing, cuz. I'll just start shooting like school.
The conversation first landed on Jimmy's noticeably short trousers.
Look at your trousers. Look like you're expecting flood. What's going on?
Then quickly moved on to his famously late start in the romance department.
Word on the streets is that, Rob, you didn't use your pecker till you was 26.
Yeah, I didn't lose my virginity till I was 26, yeah.
What? You must have been having some deeper angry wanks, bro. Yeah? Like, angry wanks.
And when the hosts pulled up a photo of 17-year-old Jimmy, let's just say that everything suddenly made sense.
No,
Holy
that's me at 17, I think.
you are a catfish. Look what them is keeping up with.
So why is it that you think you didn't lose your virginity till you were 20?
I think that might be the reason.
What they didn't realize, though, is that trying to out-roast Jimmy is a bold move.
I just spotted his eyes.
Yeah.
They're in there somewhere.
No, let me to open a few.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Once he got going, Jimmy was on fire, and there was no stopping him.
You're like the world's fattest toddler. I don't mean that.
Then, as if things weren't already brutal, the host handed him a punchline on a silver platter.
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym. That's what I'm trying to say, cuz. When I was doing the dead race,
What were you doing in the gym?
On the come up, the taxman never noticed man like me. You get what I mean, cuz?
What were you saying about going to the gym? What were you... Let's go rewind to that, my friend, because what's your favourite machine? The vending?
This one wasn't just a comedic jab, it was a genuine roast straight from the heart. When asked about his thoughts on Will Smith after that infamous Oscars moment, Jimmy didn't hold back.
What's your thoughts on Will Smith, Jimmy?
What, sorry?
What's your thoughts on Will Smith?
My thoughts on Will Smith, I think he may be the greatest actor that has ever lived, because for 30 years, he convinced the world he is a nice guy. Turns out he's a
That opinion's more than justified. Watching a fellow friend and comedian get slapped on live TV just for telling a joke doesn't sit right with any comic.
Yes, so Chris Rock, who's maybe the greatest comedian living, Chris Rock. I think Chris Rock's incredible, and he went to the Oscars, and, you know, he got starstruck.
Host.
Now, would anyone like to interview me? Yes. Right, her.
But before she even set foot on stage, Jimmy was already throwing jabs in classic Carr fashion.
What's your name? What? I'll tell you what, we'll discuss it down here, because it sounds to me like you don't have a proper name. But Lady in the Blue, as you will now be known, you want to stick a mic on her? Unless you're busy.
Unless you're busy standing by a door.
And once she joined him, it quickly became clear why Jimmy couldn't quite wrap his head around her name.
My name is Blonid.
Blonid?
Yeah. It's Irish.
It's Irish for what, typo?
He tried to keep it simple with a quick interview, but it immediately began to unravel.
Great to have you here.
Great to be here. We'll try and hold it together. You're not Graham Norton.
At this pace, the interview could have outlasted the entire show.
So who would you most like to sleep with? Anyone, living or dead?
Anyone living? This could take a while.
And just when Jimmy thought he was in control, she landed an unexpected roast of her own.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I think I might be giving her an orgasm. I'm not. I've never seen it before. I've got no frame of reference.
No, don't worry, you're not.
What followed was a hilariously chaotic ending.
Any other questions of your own? Any other questions of your own? Any questions?
Any other questions of your own? Most people will just read that and then think of a question. No. So you're Irish, are you?
Next up, things take an unexpected turn as Jimmy steps into a very different kind of battleground, a daytime talk show with an entirely female panel. In 2010, Jimmy appeared on the talk show called Loose Women, where things started heading in a surprisingly erotic direction.
Do you really want to see him in tight lycra and spandex and sequins? Does that inspire faith?
Not really. I mean, that sounds. You're making that sound incredibly homoerotic. I'm not really up for that.
Once settled in, Jimmy began roasting the women in his own unique fashion.
I mean, I spend a lot of time. I mean, I do about 200 shows a year, so we're constantly up and down the motorways and around, and we've been very lucky. Touch wood. There's none.
For lycra.
We've been.
Who's going to do that?
What? Could have been worse. We've been very lucky with. But thankfully you were here, so there's no danger of some stuff.
Where are you? Will you be upset about that?
What, if my holiday gets cancelled because of bad weather?
Yeah.
No, I won't be upset at all. Yeah, I'll be quite upset. Yeah, thinking about it, I suppose.
Eventually, the conversation circled back to the so-called romantic topics, and Jimmy couldn't help but point out just how uncomfortable the whole thing had become.
What, are you going to have kind of waifs and strays? Can we have... No, I imagine people will have a nice time.
Jimmy, I'm up for a street party at this point. I don't care. I've got wellies. I'm going to get on with it.
I'm not sure what's being proposed. OK, she's got wellies and she's up for it.
Waterproof, don't Jimmy.
This feels more like internet dating than being on like a chat show. OK. Susie, what have you been looking into recently? Other than glory holes.
I hope that you enjoyed this video. Be sure to let us know which clip you liked the most. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.